So not too long ago, I talked about the introduction of paid mods into Starfield, which, as you might expect, was not particularly well received.
Yeah,
In fact, this was never well received. We've been through this with Skyrim. We went through this with Fallout.
Yep.
Both times, fans were not happy about this idea of essentially taking the whole modding ecosystem and turning it into a business venture, especially because of the price points that these items are being sold at. And
why wouldn't Bethesda just take the mods and put them into the game for free? So, like, if they thought the mod was a good addition into the game, why wouldn't they just put it into the game? Because, like, for example, whenever Path of Exile had this situation where people were all using Flask macros, they just made special, like, instilling orbs and stuff that would allow the gameplay of a Flask macro to happen automatically anyway. So, like, this is what's so crazy to me.
Starfield, with some of the stuff that they're selling with this whole paid mods ecosystem, you're like, why is this much money? And also, why are we trying to normalize the notion
it's ridiculous.
of locking, quests behind $7? So this is a trailer for Starfield Shattered Space. The DLC and its content could be really cool, but at the end...
Bro, by the time they bring out Elder Scrolls 6, it's going to be from community creators and Bethesda Game Studios.
You can see right here that they talk about content from Bethesda Game Studios and community creators, and they have some mods here that they introduce and talk about, and you can see more of that in their official creations page for Starfield. And some of the stuff is free, but you got this right here, which is a quest that costs $7 for you to be able to play. And if you complete the quest, you get some new equipment, some new weapons and stuff. But $7 for a very bite-sized piece of quest, like a lot of
That's crazy. The problem is that this is being done with the player's best interest being the last important thing. Because the modders are probably, some of them are happy about this because they're going to be they probably get a percentage of the amount of sales that are made, right? But where are the players here? Bethesda's happy because they're getting paid money. Like, this is literally a player's last design.
Would give something like this out for free as a free update. You've got some new interior decorations for your ship for $10, and you got some plushies that you got to decorate with for $3. It just doesn't feel worth the money. It all feels way overpriced, not to mention the notion of normalizing this sort of monetization system of locking individual quests behind a paywall. That's just something that nobody wants. Nobody wants to see succeed because other companies might get...
I agree with this, by the way. I completely agree with this. I think that we are going down a very dark road of, like, people having to, like, pay incrementally to play more of a video game. And the only way that you can fight against it is by shitting on the games that do it and by supporting the games that don't. That's what you have to do.
Ideas from that. And so that's why there's been enough backlash where we have seen the recent review score for the game dip into mostly negative, 27% from 2,600 reviews. And you can see right here in this graph the increase in the number of people who've decided to thumbs down this game. So what's been going on since? Well, we have seen a response from Todd Howard. Mr. Matty Plays, a YouTuber who covers a lot of Xbox and Bethesda stuff, did an interview with him, and it's a cool interview, and there's a lot of cool insights in this interview. Be sure to check out the whole thing. But among the questions that were addressed was regarding the backlash of paid mods, and Todd Howard had the following to say. This was quoted by IGN just to make it easier to kind of translate in this video. It reads right here: "We hear that feedback too in regards to the criticism as far as Bethesda's pricing for creations content goes. First of all, I'll say that stuff gets priced based on things that we have done before, both in Creation Club."
We hear you feedback. It gets priced off of things that we did before. Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense now. Of course. Why didn't I think of that?
And then Fallout 76. But the thing is, neither Creation Club and paid mods in the past, nor Fallout 76's monetization.
Somebody in chat says you ate a dick before, so we know you like dicks. Yeah, it's about right.
Tactics and pricing have been well received. So the fact that the current pricing is being based off of that doesn't do this new model, or this model that copies the previous model, any favors.
No.
It feels like they've learned nothing. They've not adjusted anything. They're just trying to replicate what came before. And that's just going to generate backlash because people didn't like what they did before. He continues, and we're always trying to be looking at what else is out there, really make sure we're giving value to everybody, and where we're not, hey, we definitely will adjust. Now, I'd love to believe this, but I would bet you that, weeks, months down the line.
Well, if that's true, then why not just take the mods that improve the game and then put them into the base game? Because wouldn't that be the best for the player? Because, for me, it would be really good if every single time that, WoW is a great example of this. Wouldn't it be great if in WoW, every time a really popular mod comes out, Blizzard just puts it into the game as a functionality? Why not just do that? Or an add-on. Yeah, exactly.
When we look at the Creations Hub here, this is going to remain the same price. This is still going to be 700 premium currency, which, by the way, technically you have to spend $10 on, because you can only get currency packages that are not exactly what you need for certain purchases. But for this purchase, for example, you need to get the $10 package to get 1,000 that you can then spend 700 with. And that's kind of another aspect of this monetization, where it's just the inability to spend exactly how much money you need. The fact that you have to spend a little more because of the way the premium currency is packaged.
There are some games that you can earn premium currency, and that makes it better. It's then you can kind of have an argument for why it's in uncertain amounts. But I do have the opinion that it is in no benefit to anybody that you can't just buy the things outright. Helldivers 2, yeah, exactly. No, there's a lot of examples of that, and it's not as bad.
Another egregious element that they've decided to replicate from the past. So I'd love to believe when he says that we will definitely adjust, but I just don't get the sense that that will happen. Yeah. I feel like, Todd Howard is saying what he needs to say when he's being asked a question like this to ensure that further backlash isn't activated, if you will. But down the line, it's we'll have to hold you to it, and we'll have to see if such adjustments will be made if in the future, when you release a quest that's
monetizing. Yeah, of course they're going to do this, by the way. They're going to 100% do this. Monetizing mods is, again, it is putting players last. It's making Bethesda money, it's making modders money, and it's costing players at the expense of the game that they purchased. And a lot of the mods that players come up with improve the game. So, basically, you are now allowing the game to be bad, knowing that there's a solution, choosing not to implement it, and making people pay for it instead. That's crazy.
Behind a paywall, which shouldn't even be a thing at all. If that stuff will be significantly cheaper, like $7 for a single bite-sized quest is ridiculous. Paid quest at all is ridiculous. But is this going to be a couple cents in the future, or is it still going to be a couple bucks, which is way too overpriced for what you get there? So I just, I don't get the sense that the words here will reflect what we'll see down the line, or at least
they were the ones that invented fucking microtransactions with that horse skin. They didn't invent it. I think MapleStory invented it, to be fair. But they were the first ones to do it here in the West. Of course they're not going to do this.
Won't backpedal enough in terms of pricing and the pricing model of paid mods for this game. He continues, the one thing I want to say on the Trackers Alliance, that was really an attempt to something we did in Creation Club, where we would say, hey, you get this special outfit and you get this special weapon. We wanted to put them together and then thought, let's go the extra mile and wrap those around a quest. I feel like that actually makes it worse, because then we know that the original idea was to charge $7 just for the special outfit and the special weapon. So originally, the $7 was going to include less content. It was going to be even more overpriced. With the inclusion of the quest, it still feels overpriced. And it also helps normalize the potential idea of paywalling individual quests. Even their adjusted version where they added more stuff for the 700 premium currency or the $7 that they're asking for with this.
I think the way that people have to revolt about this is to just simply stop buying these things. Stop rewarding these companies financially who want to ruin your hobby. Stop buying these products. Like look, I don't understand why Bethesda's popular. I think that I've never seen a single moment in any one of their games that looks interesting to me. I don't understand. Skyrim was good. I've watched Skyrim. I think it looks like trash. That's my opinion.
Package, the fact that that still feels overpriced, and originally there was going to be less content for what you pay for here.
Yeah,
I feel like the perception of that it just isn't particularly great. Like he's trying to make this seem like a positive, like, hey, we actually gave you more than we originally intended. But even with the more you gave us, it's still like it still feels scummy. So what you've said here is essentially it was going to be scummier before, but he does proceed by saying that we now definitely see the feedback, and that's not what we want at all in terms of, oh no, this looks like a faction that we're chopping up and then selling for 700 credits at a time. And so I do think we are going to take a look at that and how we deliver content like that, and whether we're changing pricing or breaking it up or what we should do there. So great feedback from the community. And this is basically an extended way of saying we're listening, but I feel like companies and PR statements have been saying we're listening for so long. And if
they're lying until they do it. They're lying. Like I again, and it's good that they said that, and they could have said they ignored it, and it's better that if they said this than if something worse. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good, but I'm not really going to take it seriously until I see it. I'll commend it. Okay, thank you for taking accountability, but all right, let's see some action.
Feels like they're really not in the future. They just keep trying to repeat previous mistakes in the hopes that it's more normalized now, and so it's become more acceptable, except it's not more acceptable. You know, people are still cautious about this kind of stuff, and when they see it, they still call it out. And so it just feels like they didn't expect this level of backlash. They figured, oh, this is okay now in 2024, whereas it wasn't years ago for Skyrim and Fallout.
And that's the thing, is that if enough people complain about something, it will go away. You saw that with Helldivers, and you saw that with, I think there was another game, I forgot which one it was recently, that had to walk back a lot of their stuff. Like, if you get mad enough and you call, like Diablo 4, look at that. Remember, like, Shadowlands, like Escape from Tarkov? Look at Diablo 4. As Stellar Blade, like a lot of people complained about the costumes, and then the old ones got added back into the game. So never underestimate the power of crying and complaining and absolutely throwing a complete shit fit. That's what you should do. You should go absolutely fucking ballistic. Because if you don't, they won't listen to you. That's the reason.
I expect that people would still remember how not okay this is.
Be a Karen.
It feels like now they're saying, well, we're listening, we're definitely going to make some adjustments, but whether the adjustments are actually made in the future, I have skepticisms around whether that will actually be the case.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It feels like they're just going to continue pricing things overall the same, maybe backpedal a little bit, but not enough. Mm-hmm. They're still going to be inspired by the way things were with Fallout 76 in terms of monetization, or still are with Fallout 76. And the monetization surrounding that game, where you do have to pay a premium price for the base game, and then it's monetized further the deeper you delve into the game. Like, that stuff's just...
It's annoying.
Putting all that into what should be a single-player focused experience with no microtransactions whatsoever. Kind of like how Cyberpunk 2077 or Baldur's Gate 3 ended up being. It just feels like, you know, they're...
I just can't imagine, like, how do you bring out this much of a joke of a game, and then basically like a year post-mortem of the game that it's been out, you add in paid mods. How can somebody eat that many dicks? That's crazy. How is it even possible?
They're not achieving the caliber of value and consumer friendliness that some of the more acclaimed single player experiences have had over the last few months and years. And given the kind of more mixed reception surrounding Starfield, this is not going to do the game any favors in terms of optics. Here's an article saying that they go against everything a Bethesda game should be because mods should be by fans and for fans. And the second you start making this a business venture, there's the potential.
I don't like the idea of mods being business ventures. I think that's incredibly harmful. I think that, so I view mods, paid mods, the same as I view like streams of games, is that a stream of a game can be monetized, but if it's paywalled, then it's a problem. So, like, for example, I think that somebody should be able to stream a game, and it's great that they can make money streaming the game, but you're not owed money for streaming the game. So I think the paywall is the problem. For example, I think it's totally fine if a modder is able to ask for money. Like, please donate, please tip, please support the mod. I think that's great. But the issue is that whenever you paywall content, that's the problem. It's the same thing with like streams as well, or videos, etc.
Potential for monetization exploitation.
Nobody does, though.
That might corrupt.
Nobody donates to you on stream either. You are not owed a living because you want to make a mod for a video game. Nobody owes you a living for that. That's not the way the world works. Just because you want to make a mod for a game doesn't mean that there is like an obligation to create a economy around that so you can get money for it.
What is a very good thing because it's so community and passion driven, and not saying that modders shouldn't make some money off of it. I'm not saying they shouldn't maybe kickstart some donation models and stuff like that to allow people to kind of show their thanks and gratitude and appreciation and tip the modders and stuff like that. But making it a Bethesda controlled kind of corporate
paywall. That's the problem, is making it paywall. That's the issue. Why would modders do this for free? That's not my problem. It's not my obligation to finance their decision. That's it. Like, it's not the way it works. You can release people do mods for free all the time. If you think that you're not working, then stop working. Then stop doing it. If you don't think that you're being compensated, stop doing it. Make your own game and then sell your own game.
A business thing. It's just it's rife with stuff like what's happening now with pricing models that are not ideal, with them including premium currency purchase models that are stacked in a way where you can't get exact currency, and just doing things that a lot of other games do that are not ideal and that nickel and dime in a way that's not in the spirit of modding.
Yep.
And so that's kind of the concern. And Todd Howard's response just, he responded, but I don't get the sense that he's really going to deliver much.
Somebody in chat said that the paid mods only get 25% of the revenue. So they make the mod and they only get 25% of it? Wow.
On the whole, we're listening and making adjustments, the company as a whole. I don't think they're really gonna make enough of an adjustment for those words to feel like they have some weight. But that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Todd Howard's response to the backlash surrounding paid mods. Was the response satisfactory to you, or did it leave something to be desired, as it did for me? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Well, I agree with everything he said. I think he's completely right about all of it. That's my opinion. I'm gonna link you guys the video. He's completely fucking right. Bethesda taking the liability out of the mod problem for sure. Yeah, there's the video right there. I think the idea of paid mods, and I think this is really like, if you want to take a step back and think about this from just like a very basic perspective, is that this business model puts the customer last. Bethesda is making money off of it because, and it's something that they didn't even make directly. You know, they made the reason why it was able to be made, but they didn't make it directly. The modder is making money because they made the mod, and the player isn't getting anything unless they pay for it. So now you have things that are considered improvements to the game or enhancements to the game that are now being paywalled. Why? What is this? It's insane. Like anything else in life? Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. And also, like, by the way, this isn't the way it works. Like, if you're doing this and you're, like, for example, like, remixing a song or something like that, and like, you're paywalling it, you get in trouble for that. Like, that's copyright infringement. That's not even true. Who sets the price, the modder or Bethesda? I don't know. They probably agree on it, realistically. Mods have always been free. They're a labor of love for the game and the community. Like, what the fuck? Well, it's not just that. It's that, like, I think that it's great that people want to support modders and give them money. But what I don't think is great is when people think that, like, they are owed a living for playing a game. Like, and this is the same thing that happens with, like, it's happened with World of Warcraft, too. Where, like, you have, like, these WoW players that are like, well, we have to make a living playing the game. No, wait, what? No, you don't. It's a video game. What are you talking about with, like, Zygor and shit? Yeah, exactly. With streamers? Well, no. With streamers, that's not the case. Because I think you should be able to stream a game. Like, you should be able to stream a game and make money off of it. Absolutely. But you shouldn't be able to paywall the content. That's the difference. That is the big difference. That is the one thing that I think is bad. Why not? Why not? Why should you not be able to paywall the content? I think it's bad for the I think it's bad for the game. I think it's bad for the community. That's the reason why. Yeah, it's obvious. It's harmful for the game. Like, you're taking somebody else's you're taking somebody else's work, and then you're using it. And then also, by the way, if they want to do that and they're okay with that, then why doesn't the moderator why doesn't the developer just go and take the mod and add it into the game directly? Because that's what I think really should happen. Is, like, I think mods are stupid.